Welcome back to Alyssa's Movie Takes. It is getting into holiday movie season, and I know we all have our favorites. For both Christmas and Easter, I like to watch a religious film. I tend to watch The Passion around Easter time, although I skip past the brutal whipping scenes. I do watch the crucifixion, but I'm like, I can't do the whipping scenes every year. And then at Christmas, I have watched the Nativity story for at least the last 5 years once. There are other movies that I like. I particularly like Scrooge the musical. I like to watch that one, and then Elf. And then, of course, there's a couple others that I'll watch occasionally, but I'm not in the mood every year for Miracle on 34th Street or It's a Wonderful Life or anything like that. But I do watch Nativity Story every year. If you haven't seen it, it came out in 2006, and it stars Keisha Castle-Hughes as Mary, and she was a teenager at the time that they shot this, and then her Joseph to Mary is played by Oscar Isaac in his pre-Star Wars days. I think that this is a nice introduction to the story. You really start to get inside the head of a teenage mom who was, willing to do what other people might not have been willing to do, bear the Son of God, and risk a marriage. You do see her struggle with that. You get inside her head a lot. I believe that Oscar Isaac does a better job than Keisha in terms of showing you the struggles of the character. Keisha tends to take things in stride, and her acting of the dialogue is a little bit stilted. My favorite part of that movie is how they show the love story develop between Mary and Joseph. Joseph, at the beginning of the movie, Joseph sees Mary from afar. You can just tell that he really has a big crush on her, and he wants to marry her. He sees her as someone who's a little bit different than even the other girls around her age, and you can tell that she's quite young. She's probably 13 or 14, the way that they play it, because at the beginning she's playing with kids, and then her mom is starting to say, okay, you need to think about more serious responsibilities now, and starting to think about getting married. There is a moment where Mary's family is in major trouble. They can't pay their taxes, and they're going to lose their donkey, which is basically their main source of income. And after they left, Joseph secretly buys it back for the family and gives it to Mary, and does it in a very humble way where he wants her dad to still maintain his honor and not know that it was him, but that he tells Mary to tell them that the soldiers left it behind. And just a really sweet moment. And then the road trip on the way to Bethlehem, when they're forced to go to Bethlehem, you see that this is the time of their lives when they're really starting to get to know each other and start to love each other. There's another moment where Mary and Joseph are in a marketplace, and they have to stop for food. They're just on their way through. And there's this lady that's selling some kind of figs, and she gives one to Mary. She tries to give one to Mary, and Joseph shoos her away, saying, oh, we really can't afford that. She's like, no, this is for you and for your baby. And she grabs Joseph's hand, and she says, oh, to see your face in the eyes of another is such a special moment. There's nothing like it. And Joseph knows that it's not his kid, and it makes him sad for a second. So Mary just quietly just grabs his hand and reassures him. And that's the first time that she's gone out of her way to show him that she cares about him. And there's another part where Joseph gives up his food to the donkey so that Mary can keep riding, and she notices it. And as a gesture of love and response, she washes his feet, of course, a nod to what's going to come down the road 30 years later when Jesus does that he might have learned that trick from his mom to serve those you love in that way. I do think that parts of it are a little bit slow, that the pacing could be picked up a little bit, but overall, I really enjoy it. I like the supporting characters. Herod is great. The wise men add a little bit of comic relief. And then the struggle between Elizabeth and Zechariah as people who are believing God for, the Messiah, but have waited their whole lives, and the struggle that they both have, being the parents of John the Baptist, and then also playing a role in Mary's life and encouraging her in the journey that she's about to take as becoming a mom of the Messiah, and at the same time facing a new marriage to a man that she knows a little bit but not a lot. I think it would be a great holiday ad if you haven't added it to your traditions already. Maybe just something that you watch on a Sunday afternoon after church or something like that. Nativity Story, you can rent or buy it online, and I'll put a link in the description to where you can get it. It is on YouTube if you want to watch it there. But Keisha Castle-Hughes and Oscar Isaac, They make a great Mary and Joseph, and they're great to come back to every year. So enjoy this movie, and Merry Christmas. I know it's a little early, but I know a lot of people are already in the holiday spirit. So Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, etc. Enjoy your holiday movies.